TMP Magazine brings you industry-related, informative, and interesting articles and podcasts. Listen to, learn from, and enjoy our conversations. TMP Podcast. Staying informed and being empowered has never been this easy. Find us on @Plumber. Thank you. That's it from us. I'd like to hand over to our presenter.
Good morning to everybody, and welcome to this morning's webinar. Happy Spring Day to everybody. Although it's still a little cool here in the Johannesburg area, I'm sure that we will have a couple of warm days coming up. So without further ado, let's get stuck into our presentation this morning. If I can get it going. There we go. Right, so today we're going to have a little bit of a chat regarding non-compliance notices. And this is a topic that at the back of the SABS and COC whole debacle that happened. This, I think, we think is even more important going forward. So we all know that on the 24th of June 2022, the requirement to issue a COC for electrical geyser installations have been amended and therefore deleted out of SANS 10254. What is important to understand is that COCs are still required for solar geysers and heat pumps in terms of those SANS codes. In other words, solar geysers 10106 and heat pumps 1352. So that hasn't changed. That is still a requirement for those types of installations. Industry bodies still support the issue of a COC due to credibility and obviously accountability. Bodies like insurance companies, municipalities, manufacturers, government departments, property managers, consumers. So yeah, there's still a lot of people and industries and people that need and insist on a COC to be issued. Just a bit of information: the Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Labor, and the Department of Water and Sanitation are in consultation to possibly include the requirement for a COC in some other legislation going forward. So yeah, just watch this space. Chances are that it will come back at some point. Another point to note is that audits on COCs issued will still be done as normal. So let's have a look at just a bit of legislation regarding this. And you guys have all most probably seen this. In terms of the Water Services Act 1997, Clause 14 says that every consumer installation must comply with SANS 10252, which is water and drainage, and SANS 10254, which is the installation of fixed electrical storage water heating systems. Clause 16 of the same act also says that reporting of non-compliances, a water services institution, which is normally municipality or the local authority, must have a consumer service to which non-compliances with these regulations can be reported. And that supports what we are talking about today. So as I said earlier, in terms of 10254, 4.113 says the installation of storage water heaters shall comply with the relevant national legislation. And as I said earlier, on 24th of June, clause 4.1.1.4 has been deleted. So there is no requirement to issue a COC for electrical geyser installations anymore. However, in SANS 10106, as I mentioned earlier, and SANS 1352, 10106, there we are. The certificate of compliance is still a requirement in terms of clause 9.1, where it states that a plumbing certificate of compliance from the plumbing professional body registered under the relevant national body shall be issued for the installation, replacement, and repair of any plumbing works inspected. So there we go. SANS 1352, which points to heat pump installations, similar situation. In that one, it says in clause 9.1, a PIRB plumbing certificate of compliance shall be issued for the installation, replacement, or repair of any plumbing works inspected. So there we are. That's the reality of it. Those have not been changed. It's still there. Non-compliance is definitely one of the most important situations at the back of this whole COC debacle. And it's definitely something that plumbers in a lot of instances are, I won't say ignore, maybe just not aware of, or tend to forget when they're on site. And again, coming back to SANS 10254, clause 4.3.1.2, when you're talking about maintenance, replacement, and repair, it says that the water heater and its auxiliary components shall be maintained, replaced, or repaired to comply with the standard. And any non-compliance shall be reported to the owner and user in writing. Similar in 10.10.6 and similar in 1352, the solar and the heat pump one. Again, it says any non-compliance to this standard and SANS 10254 of an installed water heater shall be reported, again, to the owner and user in writing. And the same thing with the heat pump. So this has not been changed. It's still there, and definitely something that everybody needs to note. The other thing is, there are some businesses that basically a lot of their income is derived out of non-compliances. So which non-compliances are we talking about? Only pre-existing non-compliances may be reported. In other words, when you get on site and there's a non-compliance, you need to list that, inform the owner, and those ones are the ones that can be reported. No non-compliance notification on new builds or alterations or additions. So for a new build, for a new installation, you cannot issue or create a non-compliance and then issue a non-compliance certificate. Do not create a non-compliance followed by a non-compliance notice. What are the obligations and responsibilities regarding this? In terms of the owner, all installations to be installed and maintained according to legislation, bylaws, and regulations. In terms of the plumber needs to inform the owner of pre-existing non-compliances. There is nothing in any regulation that forces or says that the plumber has to fix the pre-existing non-compliances. This regulation basically puts the responsibility on the plumber to inform. So, and I think that is a very important aspect that we all need to take note of. There are several people or several plumbers that we have spoken to over the last couple of months where there's a misconception, where they were under the impression that they need to fix. Your responsibility is not to fix. Your responsibility is to inform. So the purpose of this is to protect the consumer from potential dangers and underperformance that may result from non-compliant installations. Another purpose also is to indemnify the plumber or the installer against any future claims caused by failures of pre-existing non-compliant items, like injury to consumers, damage to property, and the avoidance of warranty and insurance claims. So important to note is that a site assessment before you commence work is crucial in determining what are the pre-existing situation and what should I report. And maybe just a tip here is to, before you touch anything, stand back, have a look at the installation that you have to work on, take photographs, make note of all the non-compliances, and notify the owner. And it doesn't only stop with geyser installations. Now, there's so many non-compliances all over all aspects of our plumbing installations. And there we've got geyser installations, solar installations, heat pumps, hot and cold water supply, sanitary ware, above ground, below ground, rainwater disposal, stormwater systems. So all of these aspects can be looked at while you are on site. You don't have to make a special appointment. While you're on site, have a look at these and inform the client. Although there's no requirement for you to inform regarding other non-compliances, it would be not a bad idea to do that, because it will assist and it will also help you to improve your income. You know, everybody is looking for ways to make more money, to be more effective. So this is an ideal way to do that. So here's just a couple of things that we picked up along the way. As you can see there on the left-hand side, one of those interesting connections for the discharge pipes. Pipe anchoring with the incorrect material, 90-degree elbows there used instead of 45s. This is a gully that was, I don't know how to put this, but a gully that was basically put together by other components, not really a gully. TP valve discharge into the drainage system right here that can cause damages. There's also, as you can see on this picture, piece of polycop pipe. So there's all kinds of non-compliances that you can have a look at. There's water meters here. So there's really, if we just look at all of these things, I'm convinced that there's definitely something that you can point out and that you can improve on. So the important part here is to assess the installation before commencing work. Look for any non-compliances. Take photos of the installation pre-installation. So take photographs, you have the proof, notify the owner or the occupant in writing as the regulation says, issue a non-compliance notice, then conduct the repair, do the installation and maintenance. And I think important again is to take photographs afterwards so that you can show what work have you done to this installation, and obviously you will see the differences between pre and after. Then issue a COC when you have completed. The benefits, number one, to indemnify yourself, that's the plumber or the installer, against any liabilities, claims caused by failures of pre-existing non-compliance notices, items. And I think most of us have experienced this, where the owner says, but after you guys left, this went wrong, that went wrong. There's always that situation. So if you have the proof and you did what you were supposed to have done, then you will be able to indemnify yourself. Even more important is the opportunity to upsell by informing the consumer of risks and or benefits of correcting the installation. You will increase profitability and also improve your business's reputation. I mean, you want to be the person. If somebody thinks about a plumber, your reputation will definitely precede you, and people will start talking and say, this is the company to go for. They know what they're doing. They inform you. They help you to improve. So that's definitely the way to go. On the IOPSA website, www.iopsa.org, a non-compliance notice for electrical geysers is available. It's not a certificate of compliance. It's also color-coded to indicate safety critical items, and there's an example on your screen of that. It's being issued by the plumber to the owner or the user. The owner signs to prove that they received it, and a similar document is also available on the website for solar geyser installations as well as heat pump installations. So that is available on the IOPSA website under the shop. 50 Rand, you pay 50 Rand to get it downloaded, and then you can print as many of those copies as you need. So it's there. Please make use of it. It's a service that we have put together. We also improved some of them, and there might be other items also being placed on this website for you guys, for your convenience. So please make use of that. It's a tick box exercise. It'll take you a couple of seconds or maybe a couple of minutes, but it cannot be underestimated what the importance of this is, and especially in view of the requirement to not issue a COC for electrical geysers anymore. I see there's a couple of questions there. Let me just have a look. Colin Becker. We have a lot of laws, but no dogs with teeth or laugh. Remember, I think the important part here is that in terms of enforcement, the municipality plays a big role here. And again, plumbers need to engage with the municipal managers, with the municipality, and see how you can guide these guys to improve their services. That's basically what it comes down to, is knowledge, expand, inform the public out there, make them aware of this, and in the end, you will reap the benefits. I see there's a question here from Mani. If it's a holiday house and an agent opens up the house for me to inspect the geyser in place, can I send a non-compliance to the owner by email? Yes, sir, you can. So remember, you need to prove that you've done what you're supposed to have done. An email is definitely an accepted way of doing that, and you will also know that when we do our COCs on the PIRB platform, there's also emails being sent and generated and sent to the owner. So yes, definitely an acceptable way to inform. Right, so those seems to be the questions. I don't know whether there are other questions there, Byron, that you can see that I maybe cannot see. I can't see anything else there.
No, that's all the questions that I can see as well.
Okay, guys. So let's just give it another minute or so. If there are other questions coming up, let's address those. And then once again, the importance of a non-compliance notice can never be underestimated. And it's definitely an important part of, I would say, your toolbox, your documentation. I know of a company, I've heard of a company in the UK that the biggest part of their business was concentrating on non-compliances and, once again, informing, making money. That's what it's all about. That's basically what we are all in the business for, is to share our knowledge and obviously to make money. Clive, I see your hands raised. I don't know. Byron, can you maybe unmute Clive? I don't know, can't see a question of his on the screen.
Yeah, or you can talk now.
Morning, Clive. No. I don't know if can you hear Clive, Byron?
I can't, no.
Clive, could I request that you maybe put your question in the Q&A block so we can address? We can't hear you unless you have not unmuted yourself. No, I don't know. I can't see anything coming in. Oh, there we go. Why are we as plumbers now being asked again for free to be the insurer underwriter? Clive, I don't know. I cannot answer that question. That's obviously, I think, a question that you need to raise with the insurer themselves. That would depend on your agreement with them. I'm not aware of the situation. I don't know who these insurance companies are, so I would suggest maybe address it with them. Maybe another avenue is to just speak to Steve Brown. Maybe he's got information regarding that. So if you don't mind, let's take this question to Steve or even Brendan. Let's see if we can get an answer regarding that. I'm not aware of that situation, and I don't know how to answer your question right now. Byron, okay, so if there's no other questions, I think we have reached the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for attending this morning, and I hope you all have a great day. Byron, I know you've still got a message for our audience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Just a reminder that there will be a recording on the LMS system in case you have any questions. I see, Gerrie, we have one last question that's been put in the chat there quickly, if you want to answer that.
Okay, I can't see that.
The question is, I would like to ask, if I've bought a house in Cape Town, the plumber issued a COC. He is registered with the City of Cape Town, but when I check the plumbing work, this guy hasn't responded to the issue of the COC, and the geyser does not have an overflow pipe for TP valve. Where can I report him? He even used the wrong registration number.
Sorry, yes. So yeah, it's one of those tricky ones. First of all, I'm not sure whether this person is registered with PRB. That's maybe a starting point. If he's registered with PRB, and a complaint can be lodged. If there's any documentation, obviously that documentation or COC, whatever document that was issued to certify that the installation complies, is obviously you need to go back to this person, this plumber, or that person that issued that document. He's now responsible for that installation. So that would be your recourse, my opinion, unless there is the City of Cape Town is in some other way. If there's documentation from them, I would revert back to the City of Cape Town. I don't know if there's any other way to do this, but that would be the recourse. Thanks, Byron.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this morning.